thank you so much for joining me today. I am grateful for your time, your gift of energy and space to be here. So I want to make sure that I say thank you. I appreciate it. I am grateful. Today we are talking about love. And so my question for you, inspired by the Bee Gees song that I was humming as I was going to the grocery store and kept humming while I was waiting in line, is that old song, How Deep Is Your Love? And maybe at the end of this, I'll sing and let you know why I tend to do that privately, sing. Anyway, how deep is your love? How wide open do you allow yourself to love? And I'm talking about especially in those intimate relationships with that significant life partner, whether it is someone in your family or a close friend. How deep and wide do you allow yourself to love, to give love, receive love, to be love? And if you happen to sometimes notice that you may be guarded or a little protective or keep your cards kind of close to your chest, ask yourself why. Why is it that you may do that? Are there perhaps thoughts that run through your mind in a state that you're aware that it's happening, or sometimes even below the surface at that kind of subconscious level? Are there concerns, worries, fears about being perhaps betrayed or hurt or left behind, or scared that someone will discard you, judge you, criticize you if they really see the fullness of you? Are you worried it won't last and you don't want to give yourself to something that you think may not last? Are you worried about any of these things? Do you feel that? And if so, you're not alone. And it's understandable. And it's okay that may be how you may feel or think, or what may happen in your inner self that you notice, or perhaps sometimes don't notice until you get still. It's okay, because that's an opportunity for you to let go of some things and energies and thoughts and constructs and belief systems and maybe old experiences that are no longer serving you. And it's understandable, probably based on your own experiences of what you've seen, and even again based on this culture around us that tells us beware, play it safe, things could happen. And so we sometimes have this part of us that assumes the worst, as opposed to assuming positive intent. We can do the opposite, and we assume worst case intent in scenarios, and those thoughts and imaginations keep us guarded and keep us protected. But do they really protect us? It's not like living in this so-called safe zone actually keeps you safe. What it does, though, is it cheats you out of an amazing full spectrum experience. So there's a price tag for playing it safe. There's a price tag for being more reserved and not letting your full self be seen and known. And that is, we miss out on these beautiful experiences of a multifaceted, kaleidoscopic life, because that's who we are. Many layered, many facets, kaleidoscopic. I always say that tiramisu. There's so many layers to who we are. And we will cheat other people from getting to know that part of ourselves. We cheat ourselves from what it's like to experience giving, receiving, being very much who we already are, which is love. So I was talking with a client this morning about this very same topic, and that's probably what spurred the Bee Gees song later in the day, about how sometimes we don't even recognize when it creeps in, this part of us that can notice we're being a little bit more distant or cold, or we notice that sometimes we're feeling more insecure, or we feel as though we need to take these measurements and litmus tests, and we have this set of expectations that if we really slow it down, it's all designed to create barriers. Because having a litmus test and measurements and taking the temperature of a relationship is certainly not going to cultivate it. Like a garden, we're constantly planting seeds. And every seed has the potential to come up. And so we want to think, what kind of seed am I planting? Am I planting a seed assuming great intent? Am I planting a seed that says, I am looking forward to a yield of joy and a yield of, even if there are tears and pain, it brings me an experience of knowing myself and the other person that much more so? That I live more engaged and connected? That I'm having authentic experiences? And if that's in my garden, I'm going to have all these beautiful colors and an array of so much beauty. And yes, it requires also, like any garden, noticing the weeds. What needs to be pulled out? What no longer is needed? And a lot of these old ideas and constructs and systems that we've been taught to protect ourselves are weeds, in fact. They're not fertilizers. They're actually weeds masquerading as though it's a pesticide to keep pests away, when in fact it has the opposite effect. And so playing it close, protecting ourselves from being hurt, almost is like a setup for the opposite to happen. So this phrase, this quote that I sometimes come back and remind myself and other people I'm working with, that worry is using our imagination to create what we do not want. Oftentimes we're planting seeds of worry, seeds of what we do not want into the very garden that we hope produces a beautiful yield, and the opposite happens, and then we're wondering, why did that happen? Well, part of you is not surprised because part of you planned for it. So how do we shift this? How do we flip it? And we start with one, being gentle with ourselves, knowing that there's a reason why I tend to be more protected or don't want to be vulnerable. It doesn't feel good to be raw and wide open. We're worried about being exposed. It's okay to feel that way. It's normal to have that that thought pattern exist, considering the world at large in which we live. But we have this beautiful thing called choice, and we can say, is this really getting me what I want? Is this really the seed that I want to come up? The seed of, oh my gosh, what if this happens? Or do I want to plant a seed called, I am choosing to look at every day as a beautiful discovery with wonder and curiosity, and I'm going to allow myself to be wide open for people to see me, knowing that some days it looks one way, some days it may look another day, and that I am learning and discovering more of myself as I go along, and I'm creating space for other people to do the same around me. Because when I'm gentle with me, when I'm compassionate and forgiving and understanding of me, I have capacity, space to do the same for other people. Because there's no such thing as perfect. There's such thing as perfectly made, tailor-made for us. And I believe every experience is such if we choose to see it through that lens, through that perspective. So I want you to think about what gets in your way. What old hurt are you ready to really lay aside and pull up like the weed that it is and say, I really don't need this in my garden anymore. It's not serving me, and it's starting to strangle the very things that I do want to come up. And if so, just let it go. And that comes with leaving aside old beliefs about judgment, of how we think someone should be or how we think we should be. And I guarantee you that when we're critical with ourselves, when we're hard on ourselves, guess what? We lose some of the capacity to be wide open and accepting of other people. So What do I say? How do we move through all that? My suggestion is always, of course, be gentle with yourself. And when we're gentle and compassionate, I got a piece of hair in my mouth. Wow, I had to take it off. Okay. Wow, it's still there. I think I got it. When we're gentle and understanding and compassionate with ourselves, we can do the same with other people. And even better, we get to experience these phenomenal moments together, and that each moment is a gift. It is a present. And it happens when we share ourselves openly, understanding that there are no guarantees. However, living wide open has the benefit of giving me such powerful experiences, and I get to grow with the other person. So that Bee Gees song, how deep is your love? I really want to know, 'cause we're... Okay, and that's all you're going to get from me on that one. But look it up. It's a beautiful song. But ask yourself these questions. How deep, how open are you ready to be? And I encourage you to be wide open. So thank you for your time today. I hope you have a wonderful, radiant rest of your day. Thank you.